Right, let's have a quick look here. The next thing to do, we've got to cut this this bit of a recess in here like that. So it's about 1 millimetre deep. I've ground a tool up. Oh, well, can we get that on the camera? I'm in manual focus so it won't zoom in. But we've got plenty of relief on to go on that inside to catch this edge. So I'm hoping we should be alright. The only downside in, I've only got one screw on it, because by the time I get into depth we're nearly hitting that on there. It really would have been better if it was a longer piece of high-speed steel, but I didn't think of that. But I have got a bit if this doesn't work, so we'll give that a go. I'm going to turn this relatively slowly, I think. We'll go for 235. I'll bring that in there and just zero that, set the carriage stop. Oh, well, I remember one of the lads put on a comment about he didn't quite understand what I meant by this is left hand thread and that I could thread it this way back. That is how I'm going to thread it. That's not the issue. It's when this is done and it's screwed in to the bit that's going to hold it so I can machine the back. Because it'll be a left hand thread, if I try to turn it this side it'll undo it. So I've got to turn it from the other side. Like I said yesterday, it will become apparent when we get going. Right, let's just bring you in a bit so you can see a bit. We'll put a little bit of oily stuff on there. I'll come in so well, I barely touched that back. I think he's about there. So we need to go roughly about 40 thou deep. So I'm going to try on 4 10 thou cuts. Went the wrong way then, didn't it? Cutting very well. Just go so far and then sort of snatch a bit. Built up edge on that tool. Ah, that's not very good at all. I'm just going to give that a bit more of a tickle with a grind. I think it might be we're getting too much flex, but we'll give it another tidy up with a diamond file, have another go. If it doesn't work, we'll look to do something else. Okay, I run out of battery and somebody turned up all at the same time, which is a bit of a pain. Right, well, seem to be struggling a little bit with this morning. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because I don't know what I'm doing. I thought I'd say that before one of you lot did. Right, let's... What did I do with my little thin bit of paper? I just want to touch off on the side of this so I don't dig a bigger hole in it than I already have. There we go. Right, we'll start again, shall we, chaps? What I've done differently, it's a thicker piece of tool steel. I put a radius on the front of it, made it a lot smaller. I'm hoping that that's going to help. Whether it does or not is another thing. But we can only but try, can't we? Right, so that's us in all the way. Like I say, it's not a really bad finish, it just looks shit. So I thought I'd change the tip of the tool somewhat and see if we can improve it. And it doesn't look like we're going to do. Unless, well, I've only put like 3 or 4 thou on it. Unless some of those ridges we can see are what was left from the previous tool, I don't know. I suppose we can always send it back out and put another 5 thou on it just to be sure. If I'm honest, I think a lot of it's a bit of a grind I've got on it. I don't think very good. This is the last little cut on it anyway. So however this finishes, that's how it's going to stay. Promising so far. Maybe shouldn't have said that. I think maybe a little bit more of a fine tune on the tip of that tool. Slightly better radius wouldn't go on this. I think that should be it. Oh yeah, that's much better. Much better that is. Well. Sorry about that, boys. My lad Princess, came in to ask me if I wanted a cup of coffee. He hates it when I call him Princess. His name's Jack, but call him Princess to wind him up. He says, "Why do you call me Princess, Dad?" I said, "Because I always wanted a girl." I'm a nasty old git, aren't I? Right, because I went in a little bit deeper than I needed to there on purpose, I can now take a 5 thou clean-up pass on here and on there just to tidy things up a little bit. Just see if I can make it look a bit prettier. Thanks, Princess. Nice cup of coffee. One other comment I got, which made a lot of sense. I can't remember his name. I ought to look at these on my phone really, you know, before I mention them, so I get people's names right. But I'm terrible for that sort of thing. When I was roughing this out, and then I got it all roughed out, didn't I? The OD and this part here, and then I went away and left it to cool down. Then I came back and drilled the hole through. And he was dead right in what he said. What I should have done was roughed all this lot out and poked the hole through, roughed the hole out while it was still hot, and then, you know, it would have just made a lot more sense to have done that, wouldn't it? Just take a tiny skin cut on the front here. To get this done, then I'm going to have to sort out a boring bar to bore this counterbore in the end. And then once we've got that bit done, we'll cut the threads, then we'll have a bit of a tidy up on this side, break any sharp edges off, and then we'll be ready to take it out. Put the other chuck on and start the other side. I let that go really slowly on the feed rate on purpose, just to give it a nice finish, and it has done. So yeah, I think we've retrieved that. That should be alright. Right, I'll sort of boring bar out. Boring bar. Right, I've got my depth set. It's 1/2 inch deep, and I need to bore that out to 25.5 mil. I'm just drinking my coffee. So let's just have a little bit of a look here what we've got. We'll try at about a 4 thou feed rate at 235 revs. While I'm drinking my coffee. And what we're also going to do, the feed going the right way. Now you'll notice I'm turning this in reverse, only because that's the way my boring bar's set up. Zero my collar. We'll take a half-mil cut to start with, just to see how it performs. Bring you guys in a bit. I can't really get you in a much better position, to be honest. You're on the tailstock, but I've got to have the tailstock far enough back so that I can get my snap gauge in just to check it. If it was decent steel, we'd be able to go a lot quicker, but because it's the way it's turning, I don't really think we can. So this counterbore that we're doing here, it's just for the nut to sit in. You know, the nut that holds this on the grinder. What are we at there? About 17 mil, and we want 25, so we want another 8 mil out of it, don't we? Right, we'll try a 1 mil cut. See how that performs. It's not that critical we get this to within anything really. It's only a clearance hole for the nut to fit in. I find little bits like this are good practice for trying to hit your numbers. A 300th of a millimetre over. Oh, I'm going to live with that. So I'm going to let that run back in at the same setting, because I've stopped 5 thou short on the depth of where I need to be. So when we get to zero on the gauge on the carriage, I'll just clean that back face up by bringing it towards me. Boys, should be it. Tell you what, that is lovely and smooth, that is. Okay, take that out. I know what I do want to do. Put that in. Put a pretty decent chamfer on this. Make sure I'm going to clear everything here. And I'm not. Actually, I might just do that bit with a file. What we will do, we'll just put slight, break the edge on that bit there. Get myself a small file. And we have got a little bit to take off this OD yet, but I'm only taking that off there so I don't catch my hands on it. Last night I switched on YouTube, as you do, and I watched a lad who's, I really do like him actually, he's made some really good videos. There we go. HMW 1972. Interesting watch that, if not for the machining. It's interesting to be very careful with what you do with these bloody things. Now, I'm sure that even in my inexperience, the amount of times that I've been deburring something and slipped, pulled it out and gone, pulled my hand out of the way and think, bloody hell, that was close. Well, unfortunately, for the chap who I've just showed you, it slipped with him, but he didn't get his hand out of the way fast enough. And you wouldn't believe the bloody gash that it put in his hand. He showed the stitches, and it's like from here, right round here. It made a right mess. So, you know, forewarned is forearmed, I suppose, but really you want to watch out for something like that, because it's give him a really nasty injury. Let's be square. So what we'll best do now is we'll best cut a bit of a relief in for this thread. So let's see if this tool's square, which it isn't. I was watching my friend Mike the other week building his cannon. Lovely bloody thing as well it is. And yeah, it's what we got there. So I'm just measuring this while I'm talking. One about 8mm from the back. And Mike was doing some threading, and he mentioned me in his video because he changed his normal style. Because he normally threads, dare I say, like everybody else does, and he changed it round. It would be better on if you put the 8mm bit to the right side of the roll, wouldn't you? Because the threading is one of them things. There's so many different ways of doing it. I'm going to do a quick video one day threading on this metric lathe, because it's not as straightforward as you think for picking up the same thread each time. It'll come clear when I explain it a bit more. But Mike was doing some threading like I tend to do it now. You know, I thread away upside down for normal threads, and that's what Mike was doing. And he seemed to sort of quite enjoy it, actually. Fair play. But everybody else does it at whatever degree on there, don't they? And even before I started threading the way I thread now, I never threaded like that before. I always kept my top slide at 0, and then when I was threading, I'd put my cut on with the cross slide. So I would, and this is in a book I read, and it basically said in the book from the author, this was his preferred way of threading. And because I didn't know any different then, I adopted his way and went like that. So, and I found it really good. So I'm going to exaggerate here, but you would, let's say you put a 5 thou cut on, yeah, in 5 thou, and then take do your first pass, and then your next pass, when you put your next 5 thou in, you would put half of the infeed that you put in, you put half of that on the top slide. So you would go in 10 thou and move across 5 thou. So you're always cutting on that front edge. And I always used to thread like that, and I always found it pretty good actually. Right, so about 8mm from there. I need to find me a bit of paper that's got me thread data on it actually. There we go. So we're going to cut a 20 TPI left hand thread. Now I looked in Machinery's handbook and I got it down as a 3A thread. What else have I got there? Yeah, 20 TPI. The OD 1.250. Well, in Machinery Handbook, I went with the minimum max and went in the middle, and I've ended up with a figure of 31.63, which this diameter at the back here says 31.7, wasn't it? So we're about there. And I think, if I remember rightly, the thread depth that I went to when I did the threading before was, what was it, Al? I think it was about 140 thou. So we're in the thick part of it here. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to wind in, not 140 thou, what am I on about? 1.4 on my gauge. So I'm going to take this into about 1.6. One. .7. Give it a bit for luck, eh? Oh shit. Made a right mess of that. All the chatter lines in there. See if I can do something with that. Try slowing it right down with a big glug of oil. I think that was because I just left it sat. That's alright. Right, get set up for the thread. I want to see what sort of speed we end up going at. Right, we'll do a bit of a scratch bash, shall we? Yeah, looks good. Right. Not going to go too fast, so I've got to stop in that groove every time. Bring you guys in a bit. There's a bit of Mickey Monk. That was 0.4 of a mil, that cut. Over 0.8. Obviously I can't release the half nuts because we're cutting an imperial thread on a metric lathe. It'll take us to 1.2. So I would say it'll be somewhere close. We'll do a couple of passes at the same depth.